Weekend's almost over. So's the intro. Very sad about both. Hello guys, hello. How are we? Welcome to episode 4 of The Spread. And I'm just unmuting my guests. We've got a massive group of people here today. Some fantastic streamers and some fantastic members of the Jam community and of the Twitch community in general. So you guys know how this works. I'm going to introduce everyone, and then we're going to start talking about what happened this week. And yeah, just have a chat. There's not too much going on this week, so we'll probably be able to answer a lot of questions from the chat. So keep those questions running. So I'll start with my usual crew of guys from Jam. Got KB Goodness over here on the left hand side. There he is.
Yellow.
Got Toos down the bottom left.
Hey guys.
Right hand man. We got Unbound with the nice dog avatar down there.
How you guys going?
And HyperStrike, our guest for this week, who is the founder and manager of Team OCE.
Hello!
Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, HyperStrike, just let everyone know who you are, how you got into gaming, how you got into streaming, and why you decided to start Team OCE.
Sure. Hi everyone, I'm HyperStrike. As Chris already mentioned, I'm the founder and team manager of Team OCE. I started streaming back in the old Justin.tv days on a 1 megabit up connection, trying to put out 1080p 60 FPS with 5 megabit bitrate, and had no clue as to what I was doing. I later tried again in 2016 when a mate of mine wanted to get back into the video game scene, and I decided to do it again with him. He kind of stopped, I kept going, and I'm still doing things. But I'm also the Twitch meetups manager for Twitch Adelaide, so help put on local broadcaster social events for the Twitch community here in South Australia. I've been gaming for a long time, very long time. Yeah, hi.
Welcome. It's really great to have you on the show this week.
Thank you.
I'm a big fan personally of Team OCE and everything you guys do over there to support streamers, and yeah, so it's great to finally meet the man behind the brand and get to chat about the Twitch community in Australia and about all the news and whatever else is going on. Yeah, so thanks for coming on.
No, thanks for having me. It's good to be on a podcast that, you know, yeah. Go ahead.
Overall, so it's just great to have you here.
Thank you.
All right, boys. Well, I guess we'll jump into the news. There's really not much that happened this week, unless I missed a whole lot. So
It's been a pretty quiet week.
Yeah, I guess.
I haven't seen heaps of I haven't seen a heap of stuff coming around. But
all right, well, the bot's broken, so I'm just gonna paste the topics document in chat. I don't know where Nightbot's
Is this
going.
another bot that we have to replace, Chris?
no, not another one, man.
Yeah, I don't know what we do to our bots over here, but they always seem to break on me. Yeah, so let me just jump to this screen. Here we go. I'm just gonna resize this. You guys get to see all my tabs. There we go. So not much going on. HyperStrike, you are the man in the second screen this week. You are the guest, so you get that prime position up there while we look on Google and whatnot. Yeah, so a little bit of Twitch news and a little bit of esports, but considering usually we go through a massive 2-page document, there's not much going on. So I guess something interesting that happened that caught my eye straight away was a politician starts talking about esports and in Canberra, and whenever that happens, that's usually well, hopefully we think it's good, and in this situation it seems to be a good thing.
We just hope it stays good for the most part, really.
Yeah.
So let me show you guys in chat what this article was. I saw this on the Canberra Times. Basically it's a backbencher, nothing too serious. He's just saying that, like, Canberra, you need to look at esports and develop a strategy. he doesn't have a strategy. He's just saying, "Yep, this is a thing. You guys need to
Turn your eyes
look at
this way, sort of
Yeah.
thing.
And then Melbourne pops up and says, "Hello, yep, we've already done this. You know, Melbourne Esports Open.
Yeah.
The
And they
Victoria,
got the Vic government, to
yeah,
invest
yeah,
like $4 million into it. And
exactly, yeah. So you know, if you want to look at a case study, then just go down and look at what they're doing down there. So
In fact, actually, on the topic of MEO, have we heard anything about Melbourne Esports Open for this year?
nope.
Not yet.
But
No.
I assume
Not yet.
ESL has their hands full with IM. So
That's true. So we'll probably hear something after IEM Sydney then.
yeah, I haven't heard anything negative, so I assume that it's happening again.
I mean, it was a massive success. It was a massive success last time.
Yeah,
There was so many.
I heard mixed reports, but I think it's
You reckon?
successful. Yeah, overall. I remember someone on like the inside was saying on day 2 to me that the numbers were like a little iffy, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether they, you know.
Do you mean
had
like
all-
attendance wise?
Yeah, yeah, attendance wise, yeah. I remember it was
Okay.
raining that day too.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
Melbourne's when it rains. Oh no.
yeah, that's certainly probably affected things, but yeah, I think obviously from my perspective it went well. We had a booth there, and
I had a ton of fun there. That was so much fun. Probably my favorite event besides PAX. So, I mean, I'm excited to see if it comes back around, but unfortunately I won't be able to attend IEM Sydney, so I guess we'll kind of have to wait until after that.
Well,
Yeah.
there's still heaps going on in Melbourne. You know, PAX obviously, and then hopefully MEO.
Melbourne
Yeah.
is definitely the place to be ANZ Esports and Twitch wise, that's for sure.
So what
It is
this,
a pretty decent hub, yeah.
I mean,
sorry,
one thing
you go,
that I would
sorry.
probably, I was going to say, like earlier, like $4 million. You'd think they'd be able to invest in a decent moderator to moderate all the troll comments that happened at MEO on the live stream.
That's true. That's actually a very valid point.
Like, yeah, where did they? Yeah, well, let's be accurate. $4.5 million according to the article. So yeah, surely they could afford someone to moderate for the day. Or yeah.
I'm sure people would have even done it for volunteer work, like
Oh yeah, definitely.
just like to have that on your accountability, like resume sort of stuff.
yeah.
But it just slipped through the cracks, unfortunately. But I mean, that's
Yeah.
that's the sort of thing that you have to learn from the second year around and be like, okay, we didn't do that properly, but like these things we did do properly, and we can work on these now as long as we don't change the other things up too much.
yeah.
Lessons
mean,
learned.
Which
The whole
The
event
first one's always
itself-
going to be shaky.
Yeah, the whole event itself was run flawlessly. The only problem was it rained. You know, like they actually had an outdoor space where everyone can sort of come together. So
Yeah.
low attendance because of the rain, and then on top of that, because of the rain, people aren't going to be buying merch or anything like that because they don't want it to get wet. You know what I mean? I'll just buy it online. It'll come shipped.
It's kind of crazy how much weather plays into like events like that. It's
Yeah.
something you never. It's sort of the thing you kind of overlook. And you never really expect to have such a detrimental effect to events. But then it's like, oh, when you kind of add it up and stack up all like the different things that are affected by weather, it's a little crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
For an indoor event mostly.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
One thing about this article, though, is, and I mentioned this to you guys before the podcast started, I'm kind of seeing this like column A, column B, you know, like looking at it positively. Yeah, great that ACT is going to get, you know, more we'll hopefully get more esports orientated things in
Like
ACT,
focus
but
and such.
focused. Yeah, words are a thing tonight. But on the same time, like we've also got the federal election coming up, and I have a feeling that this is a cheeky way to say, hey, let's get in with the youngsters and the young voters. Let's lure them in so we can get voted. I sure as hell hope that fucking Labor. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to swear. I'm used
You
to
can swear.
cussing.
That's fine.
It's all good.
Oh, okay, cool. I'm used to like swearing on my own channel, but like at the same, like with this, it's like I hope that Labor does win so we can get some of these things in place, because we sure as hell won't get that with the current government.
No. That is like the one benefit of a change of government is you are more likely to get some of these different, like as you said, beneficial things for young people because it's sort of tailored a little bit more towards them.
Yeah.
Right? They'll see if they see dollar signs, they'll go, "Oh, yep, not a problem. Let's get on that now."
Yeah, either way you look at it, they're still focusing on trying to run like they did 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, millennials aren't stupid. They've got to act before, you know, anything sort of sways in their favour. And at the moment, nothing's swaying in their favour because you look at both sides of government, they've both promised things within technology advancement in terms of our internet.
NBN.
Yeah.
And what's come of it, you know, like...
We've got the NBN. We're net positive, right?
I made my own little makeshift, you know, 4G extender, and I'm getting better speeds on that than what I was getting on NBN when I was living in the city, you know? Like, it's an absolute joke.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No matter what topic passes through Canberra, it always seems to be heavily politicized. NBN is one of them, especially considering cost. Like when the Liberals went in 2013, 2014, they promised that they were going to be able to roll out NBN, at least fiber to the node, to all premises across Australia by 2020. Look how that turned out.
Yeah, that didn't go. That did not age well.
And then we've also had at least 2 changes in technology type since fiber to the node. So we've had, what was it? We went from a full scale fiber to the premise rollout that was deemed, you know, costly and ineffective. Then they went to fiber to the node. Then, you know, the problem with provisioning up to a 1K copper line to the premises from the node.
And we've got fiber to the curb as well, which is
fiber
essentially to the
and HFC as well. HFC, you gotta throw that kickback to old mate Rupert Murdoch, you know, him and his Foxtel network. We've had 5 fixed line mixed technologies. 5 different generations of fixed line NBN broadband to the premises, and we're still not on target to roll it out fully across Australia, and we're also over budget too.
Yeah, and their new answer to everything is to bank on Telstra's 5G network, which is ridiculous because that's something else entirely. I'm not going to get into.
Whole other different topic, and all the downsides to that are a whole different thing. But to answer the question in the chat, did we say the politicians lied? I am not at liberty to discuss that information. There you go.
No comment.
No comment. They're very liberal with the truth.
Well, I really like this politics stream, I must say. I'm enjoying learning about how shit the NBN is and how 5G is not going to save us.
It's not.
Well, put it this way: we're building a house at the moment, and I currently have fiber to the premises. And one of the big deciding factors for us in building the house was to making sure the new suburb had fiber to the premises, because I refuse to take a step backwards. Like I can move 2 suburbs over and be on fiber to the node. Like that's how ridiculous it is.
Yeah.
I'll probably step in here. Like, don't discredit things like fiber to the curb and HFC. Like, while they're not the full scale
fiber to the curb is essentially fiber to the premises. Like, you will still get the full speeds, but I've had node and the dropouts are real. Like that long, kilometer of copper line makes a shitload of difference compared to like a couple of meters of it that's running from the curb to your house. Like, yeah.
Absolutely. And
all they need is a private company to come in and just build the infrastructure. Just let them look after it.
Google Fiber.
Google's testing drone food delivery out here at the moment. It's pretty interesting.
Sorry?
Yeah, we're getting food delivery via drone. I'll take a video and put it up in the Jam community.
Please do, because I never even knew that was a thing.
And there was a big uproar about it. Southside, people were complaining the drones were too loud and, air traffic and blah, blah, blah. And some dude said he was going to shoot one out of the sky. Like, all right, mate.
Free lunch,
But yeah, I'll take one. People getting coffee delivered, everything. It's crazy.
Jesus. Uber on a new level, man. Uber Eats. We've taken a step forward in that fucking regard.
Oh, we're drone eats, man. We're living in the year 3000 here.
Still talking on the topic of esports and governments, we can kind of look a bit lower down and look at just local governments. And we've had some local governments turn up to esports conferences as a way of just spending some budget on like events. So that's something that's also happening government-wise.
I mean,
That's
it's
not like
nice.
on a national
Yeah.
level.
It's nice to see at least like local governments taking in the initiative to sort of try and get involved. It's just what they do with that information that sort of doesn't translate well across into our industry.
Well,
Yeah,
they're
I
all
feel.
business people. They're not stupid. They look at what tourism brings to regional areas. I mean, you look at Poland. How much money they bring in just through
Yeah, with
ESL alone.
Katowice, yeah. It's like a
just
massive
Yeah.
part of their industry now.
ridiculous. And what do they actually have to offer apart from CS:GO?
Yeah.
Oh,
Come over here and your nipples will freeze off. Yeah, that sounds awesome. You know what I mean? There's nothing else that they've really got going. So tourism is a massive, massive pitch, in local
Yeah.
governments coming out and getting involved with people like us.
And I reckon that's why the governments will start to take more notice now since the Adelaide Crows announcement with their initiative and everything like that. If they get state sport clubs or AFL clubs, NRL clubs, whatever, coming on board for things, they will start to take notice a lot more than just like your little local branches of government.
yeah.
I hope, anyway. But
Well, yeah, we hope so, but it'll kind of it's up in the air right now. It's very up in the air.
Whether more AFL teams come in is a whole nother question, I think, because a lot of
just
them...
slightly on that topic. I mean, there's AFL teams that are in esports, but only specifically in like certain branches of esports, and like not even just AFL teams. Like obviously you've got the Bombers in the OPL, and they're only in the OPL. They're not doing anything else. But you've also got like the Brisbane Roar are in the E-League for FIFA. They're just, I think these football clubs and these sports clubs, these traditional sports clubs, are just a little apprehensive of going into anything outside of their boundaries. And that's,
Yeah, FIFA's
it's
a little
not a-
different because like every Australian football team has a FIFA E-League team. So
yeah. Well, that's because
yeah.
somebody set up the E-League.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Have
And
pushed
yeah.
for that sort of
it's like
setup.
a team-wide thing.
that blew my mind the other night when I saw that being broadcast on Fox Sports.
It actually, there was in the news article that we have, that we started off talking about the Canberra Backer. There was a quote there that said that more people actually watched the E-League Grand Final than the A-League Grand Final.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. That's crazy viewership. Like, I know a lot of people that watch A-League.
Oh, yeah. But
you
there's
gotta
a
really
lot of
think
FIFA nuts out there that just like mad FIFA. Mad.
Yeah, it's crazy.
FIFA probably like gets global viewership as well, and A-League wouldn't really get much.
EA
global.
just pushes it like no tomorrow.
But not only that, you think of every lad that's going out for pre-drinks with his mates who hasn't got FIFA playing, and on their main screen, whenever there's a live game, just like Rocket League, they post it. There's a live game.
That's
As if
true.
they're not gonna just click on that and just watch it.
See, but NBA doesn't translate across that well. NBA 2K is nowhere near as popular as FIFA.
No, but in the article, I think it said that like 60 million watched the NBA 2K finals or something like that, as opposed to the 20 million that actually attend or can attend or watch the NBA grand finals. So that's massive.
See, that's one thing that esports has on traditional sports is we sort of
because everyone can watch it. It's within reach. Like it's free.
It's very
to
accessible.
watch. Yeah, it's very accessible. Where your traditional sports are all stuck behind your pay TV or your subscription passes to like NBA or
these massive paywalls that like.
They are paywalls. Let's call it that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just makes them inaccessible. But like, oh, you've got Twitch. Okay, cool. We'll just broadcast it on Twitch, and everyone can watch it. Like.
You don't even have to sign up. That's the thing. That's the beauty about Twitch.
That's the problem as well. Like that's the issue with esports right now is that it's very hard to extract dollars out of those fans. Because,
regulate
them. The average spend for like an NFL or NBA fan is something like $25 or $30, I believe, from memory, and the average spend for an esports fan is like $3. So
wow.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So it's that's what the problem is right now. Even though the viewership's really solid, esports fans just overall, and the younger generation overall is a lot less likely to support with their wallets, especially if they're used to free products like Twitch is free, we don't have to sub, you know, all that kind of stuff. And
Yeah, that's very true. And if they change that model to like a, I don't know, $5 a season or $10 a season sort of thing or whatever.
yeah, like the Overwatch League's kind of doing that. Like they have a
The Twitch pass
yeah,
sort of deal.
pass where you get like benefits in stream where
You can actually see from the perspective of the players.
Yeah.
I think
that Twitch pass.
I
which is
think
great.
Blizzard did
CS:GO
something
season
like
pass.
that
Yeah.
with Heart. What is it?
Hearthstone.
Yeah. Through BlizzCon last year or something, you could buy more bits or something and for emotes to generate for your favorite player or something. Yeah.
Like there are lots of smart ideas coming through. Like Blizzard and the Overwatch League is trying to push that, and obviously they're putting a lot of money into it, so they need to develop that money quickly. From the fans.
I think the main thing that kind of limits esports from like having that higher, spend per, how we were talking about earlier about the average fan spends way more than the average esports fan. I think it's half because there's no sentimentality behind barracking for an esports team. Yeah. Whereas opposed to being like a Mavericks fan, it's like, or even better, you know what? We'll go over to the Premier League over in the UK, where it's literally blood and bone. You can find interviews. If you're born following Liverpool, you follow Liverpool. You follow Liverpool till you're dead. Your son follows Liverpool. His son follows Liverpool. It is blood and bone. But there's no sentimentality. There's no like deeper,
but
like following.
That might develop over time. Like that's the thing.
I mean,
we're still
obviously,
the first
I
generation, you know, like when we have kids and we pass that along to our kids. You know, we're going to have certain esports teams that we're attached to that will pass along to them. Like, traditional sports have been around for over 100 years, so obviously...
even longer.
I think that's the motto for Collingwood fans too, isn't it?
I mean, Collingwood have a lot of mottos, and I hope one of them is at least something positive.
If you're born a Collingwood fan, and you will die a Collingwood fan.
Alright, well I guess we can transition on to the next news topic, which is something from 2K.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh boy.
So, apparently this isn't clickbait, by the way. Just putting that out there.
Just gotta clarify that.
Are you sure it's not clickbait? Was it?
Should we ask 2K?
So, an Aussie has made it into the semi-finals of the WWE 2K19 $1 Million Challenge. I didn't really know anything about this until I saw this tweet. So, have any of you done any research into this? Do we know? So apparently it's like a
I don't know.
$1 million
I don't really know anything about wrestling anymore.
Because I've seen the $1 Million Challenge with the streamers, which is kind of just like a fun thing. I don't think there's any actual money.
They have a lot of within the game itself. It like, I don't know if you've seen the tournaments feature on Rocket League, where you sign up in-game for tournaments and stuff like that. It's a lot of in-game advertisement on signing up and competing and playing. And I think the big benchmark was to market from the semi-finals onwards, because that's where they're doing all the live audience. You know, you get a big, massive trip, you know, trying to throw all of their goodies in one bag and then throw that bag out to the audience.
Yeah. And I mean, one key thing to note about this whole 2K thing is they're actually going up against a real wrestler. Like AJ Styles is a real wrestler who is completely in the WWE, and he's taking the step out of like this TV broadcast WWE world that they're in to kind of branch over into the whole esports, you know, WWE sort of gaming area, and that's pretty cool to see. I'm not gonna lie.
They're trying to grow with the market.
Didn't they do an activation with Tyler One and in the US? I'm pretty sure.
I don't know, but I mean, I wouldn't put it past them.
They did do a team versus team with Tyler One and some other guy.
And I'm a cutie.
Yeah, it was Tyler One versus I'm a cutie pie.
Yeah, that's right.
NXT league.
They had WWE's main roster, or the superstars from their main roster, versus the other team like that. So they had I'm a Cutie Pie on one, and then they had Tyler One on the other.
Yeah, I found it.
They had the main WWE roster on one team, and then NXT, which is their developmental territory, they're competing on the other team. Cool. So just based on what I'm looking here on the stream,
How did I never see this?
So Tyler 1 was on NXT, which is their developmental territory, and then I'm a Cutie Pie was on the Raw and SmackDown team. So that's their two main shows.
Yeah.
So he's one of 4 going to the semis, I think, or the finals in New York. Roundabout.
They get to take a friend with them and all that sort of stuff.
WrestleMania week.
That's this weekend.
Yeah.
So they go to WrestleMania and then what was it? NXT or NXT
Takeover.
Yeah,
that's the one.
NXT Takeover.
$1 million challenge. So I'm not sure if he gets all, like whoever wins gets all the $1 million, or how.
I'm pretty sure the winner gets it all.
Far out.
That's insane.
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
This is
if they're basing it off how it actually plays out within the wrestling world.
Well, yeah, it's similar to like their Money in the Bank type.
I could only assume.
Yeah. Not promotion, match that they have where it's like the briefcase and you get a contract and stuff. But yeah,
this $1 million challenge has actually been going since the launch of 2K19 back in September, I think it is.
2K must have some money. Well, the WWE is probably.
Oh, they have
this will be coming all out of their marketing budget.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They will whenever a new game is released, there's like a big hoo-ha about which superstar from the main roster is going to appear on the cover. The year. So they usually on Raw or SmackDown, they will have an unveiling and they'll make a big show of it, and that'll promote sales, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I remember some of the old ones. They do it with the UFC as well. Like I think one of the title fights ends up deciding who is on the cover of the UFC EA game. Like similar.
That'd be cool.
I'm not much of a big
I'm not much of a big UFC fan, so I can't really. I mean, if it happens, awesome. Can't doubt
that was one of it. One of the years it was down to Rousey and someone else, and because she won the women's final in like an amazing knockout, she won the title. She won the cover of the game.
Yeah. And that's when she was on the front. That makes sense. That actually makes perfect. I mean, that's a good marketing ploy as well. You get to see, she's like, before she left the UFC, she was just a massive crowd pleaser. Like, many fans until.
But across all platforms, because she's like a massive gamer as well and a fighter, like it brought both genres together, and I reckon it generated more for her fan base because she was very vocal about her love of games.
Yeah.
She was featured on Kotaku quite a bit. And,
she was.
I'm fairly sure that Sarles, who was the executive editor at the time, was pretty keen on it.
Yeah, good old Marky.
Okay, well, I think we should move on.
I'm keen that an Aussie is made into it, though.
Yeah,
that is awesome. That is really, really cool. If anyone gets a chance, watch his YouTube video. It goes for like about 15 minutes, but it's just a really good, like, it's funny. It's really funny.
I did flick through that. I'll try and find the link here and post it for the chat. I think it's this one here. Yeah,
I think it's in the tweet.
Yep, here you go. So I will just watch a little bit of it while we're not doing much.
Yeah. I had a good chuckle at it.
The other thing with WWE and like esports and that sort of thing, it's not just WWE that are sort of getting more into it. It's wrestlers that have sort of come out as video gamers, or have decided to be known as video gamers. One of the WWE's talent, Xavier Woods, he does a YouTube show called Up Up Down Down, and they do like sort of like show where other WWE talent will come on and play video games against each other, have a bit of a podcast like this one. And then you've got guys like Kenny Omega, who was previously in New Japan Pro Wrestling, who's now gone and formed his own company called All Elite Wrestling. He is one of the commentators at CEO.
That's like the fighting games, right?
Yeah, the fighting game championships. And CEO are also doing a cross show with the new AEW promotion that is headed up by Kenny Omega, Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson, Cody Rhodes, the Khan family. They're doing a joint show where Jabali is going to do a hardcore match against a C grade wrestler.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah,
That'll be awesome.
The two worlds are coming together quite nicely.
I miss the glory days of wrestling so much. Like, yeah.
If you're still keen to get into wrestling, like you don't want to watch WWE's product, watch New Japan, Ring of Honor, and AEW when it comes out.
Well, I didn't know how much wrestling had sort of expanded.
Ooh, yeah.
It's crazy.
So,
the WWE is about to get a massive wake-up call.
I mean, the thing is, like, I kind of fell off the whole wrestling train as I grew up watching it. My mum was a massive, like, WrestleMania fan. She has everything from, like, WrestleMania 1 in, like, a massive box set to, like, 21.
That is freaking awesome. Like,
yeah, it's crazy. Her dedication to supporting all of that is crazy. But I kind of fell off the hype train as I kind of grew older. I didn't even follow many fighting games, so I mean, it's awesome to see that it's still going on. I remember the days of Hulk Hogan and like Bret Hart and everybody sort of growing up in the old WWF, like SmackDown versus Raw sort of phase, and now it's like all these different companies have popped up. It's crazy. So many new opportunities.
Yeah, and there's a lot of talent that are now finding that WWE is not the be-all and end-all. There are a lot of other companies that are almost at the same level as WWE, and they're going to those companies.
Yeah, and I actually have a friend from high school. I'm going to keep his name private for obvious reasons, but I have a friend from high school who is a wrestler who does his own like sort of thing on the side with like a local like Melbourne-based sort of wrestling brand that's all like.
That would be MCW, I believe.
No, I think it's PCW.
PCW.
Yeah,
okay.
It's sort of like a northern suburb sort of place. But, you know, I'd never expected it to be big. And then I watched one of the videos of him wrestling once. And, like, even though it's a small venue, there's, like, a very hefty amount of people there just watching it for the support. Like, I honestly never realized how crazy it still, like, kept going just because I fell off the hype train. But, I mean, I'm happy for it, so I can't really argue.
I might just jump in here and do a quick shameless plug, if I may.
Go ahead.
So one of the other things you were going to bring me on to talk about was the Starlight charity drive that we're doing.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So this sort of ties in with wrestling. So each of us are all setting our own sort of goals and what we're going to do when we hit certain milestones. When I hit $1,000, I'm going to be taking either some sort of wrestling bump at one of our local promotions live events. So I'm going to be getting in the ring and going to be taking
that tweet
a
you
kick
put
to the
out.
face or something.
I saw that tweet.
That's cool. That's crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but yeah, carry on.
Well, is there anything else you can share about the Starlight charity drive and
yeah,
you know, the premise behind it and everything?
Yeah, so the Starlight charity, Starlight Children's Foundation of Australia is dedicated to sort of helping the lives of seriously ill children and their family to sort of, you know, make their lives a little bit better while they're, you know, being prodded with needles and undergoing tests and stuff like that. Like when you're a young kid and you're really sick and you're hospital bound, you don't really get much of a childhood. And these guys do a really awesome thing of getting celebrities to go and, you know, go visit these sick kids and that sort of thing. And what we're doing as Team OCE and Twitch Adelaide, and there's a bunch of other Twitch broadcasters as well that are really taking part of this as well, is they are coming together to fundraise money over a 3-week period, which is going to go towards you know, a collective goal. Team OCE is hoping to raise about 10 grand between I think the 20 odd broadcasters that we've put together.
Wow,
hefty goal.
Twitch Adelaide are going to raise around about 5 grand for I think about the 10 or 15 people that we've got for that.
Yep.
And then you've got everyone else with their own individual goals and that sort of thing. But all of it goes straight towards Starlight Foundation, helping them, you know, put on these special events for the kids to, you know, help them get through those sucky times of being in hospital. And I did it last year. It was really, really good, and I was super keen to put together a group to do it again this year, and it's just sort of gone really taken off.
Yeah, that's awesome. A lot of support.
That's incredible.
And when does this start?
So it starts as of next Sunday. Well, next Saturday technically, but most of us are going to be doing our stuff on Sunday.
Great, we'll keep an eye out.
That's crazy. Congratulations on all the success so far, for sure.
Yeah, well done.
Thank you.
Let's move on to a bit of esports discussion, and then we can give it over to the chat if we have any questions and see what else we can talk about.
Well, just to bring up a little topic on esports, I don't know if you guys have seen it much. Obviously, I've been involved in the Rocket League scene for just too many years at this point, and only now have they finally announced with Rocket Pass 3 that they're finally adding the esports shop into the game.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else saw that, but I kind of wanted to bring it up as to what sort of the extent that they can go to with this. Obviously, the whole implication of adding like a specific esports shop, I think it's going to go into the showroom in the game. I don't really know where it's going to end. Like, if they add just the RLCS teams, like, what about the old ones? What about, all the... I don't know. I'd like to see the ability to have, like, essentially add yourself into the game through, like, a whole process. But I know it's more along the lines of having a team, garnering them with the RLCS, all of that sort of process.
Yeah, well, it won't be any old teams, because the teams have to give their consent to use branding.
Yeah. It's free marketing, really. It's. Oh, I think the whole premise of it is.
But no one's gonna buy my shit. So.
I wish we could buy into it, if only.
Speaking of Rocket League, has anyone been watching qualifiers?
No. Well, didn't RLCS
well, first game of league play in NA was last night.
Yeah.
And OCE's own Drippy carrying his team
popped off.
So,
that's nice.
So it's big news.
I saw a little bit. I saw a few of the highlights just from the RL Esports Twitter, but he has adapted like crazy to the whole new mentality of North American Rocket League, which is, as we've seen in the past, maybe not a lot of steps ahead, but at least one, maybe two steps ahead of Oceanic Rocket League. And we always saw when Chiefs went over to the RLCS before Drippy left the team, that I remember the first season, even the pro teams back then, they were like, wow, these guys are crazy at adapting. I remember seeing all the pro players were just like, wait a second, these guys have been here for like maybe 2 weeks, just boot camping, just scrimming, and they're like just about at the level of us. That's
it
sort of crazy how quickly he can adapt.
That's bonkers.
It happens with a lot of games, a lot of Aussie teams. Like the moment they get a shot to kind of live there for a month or so, they just skyrocket. Another recent example is the Renegades' new adjustment to their team, when Gratisfaction and Liaz were into the team. So they picked up 2 new Aussie players who were from, 2 of the best players in Australia, and they boot camped in Europe for like 2 months before the major, and then did really well in the major, and now they're...
Didn't Renegades beat FaZe Clan at some stage?
Oh yeah, they're comfortably in the top...
They beat them in a best of 1,
They're comfortably in the top 8 of the 8 teams in the world.
That's crazy.
Right now. Yeah. Like
how many people do FaZe Clan have?
You mean as in members?
Yeah, because I like see it's probably one of the biggest organizations that I've seen.
They're probably the closest thing to an esports conglomerate, more than like an organization.
So they started off as like a sniping clan. If it's like hard.
So
it's
the
hard
whole
to explain. So it's basically
the whole history. Because I was in the COD scene when they started off. The whole history was they were like a trick-shotting clan. They would go into COD, they'd pick out a sniper, and you'd go into search and destroy, and you'd kill everyone else until the last guy was alive, and then you'd jump around off things, and you'd spin around a whole heap and try and hit him without zooming in, essentially.
The old 360 no-scope.
Literally it's where it started. It was all the 360 no-scope craze, and now it's kind of... They've done things that Optic haven't done to sort of be bigger. which is kind of crazy because if I don't know how much you guys know about
They're
the
the
history
boy
of
band
Optic
of
versus FaZe.
esports.
They are definitely the boy band of esports for sure. There's no arguments there. But what's crazy to me is that Optic literally jumped off the sniping train like years before FaZe did. Years. Jumped straight into the esports side because they saw they picked up like a whole heap of really, really good COD players to do COD esports, and they jumped completely off sniping, which is where Optic versus FaZe started. And now Optic is, in my opinion, not even at the same caliber as FaZe even anymore, even though they got into esports way before FaZe did. Which is, I just don't know how that works.
Well,
in my mind.
that's just culture. I don't want to talk about Optic and FaZe too much because we're not here to
That's
talk about
fine.
NA shit. But yeah, it's yeah.
It's an interesting topic, but
It is good. Like what FaZe have done is they've built like a lifestyle, which is what Optic haven't done. Is like they've started with a group of guys who have been very popular in their own right, and then kind of together they've built the brand, as well as building their individual brands up. So it's just like snowballed off each other.
Yeah.
And then they've eventually stepped into esports and then grew further from that. And yeah, but their brand is very much focused on like the lifestyle of FaZe and like the mansions and all that shit. And
Oh
like,
yeah,
young
their
kids
marketability around their whole housing and like the FaZe mansion and such.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
oh, what?
kids love that
Yeah,
stuff, so.
they got a mansion. It's ridiculous.
It's almost ridiculous as the concept of a streamer house.
I mean, Click Crew made it work.
It works. It's yeah.
Who made it work?
The Click Crew.
Because it's you kind of
Which
feed
one's
off
the
each
Click
other's
Crew?
audience, right? Like if you're doing very well as a streamer and you decide to work together with 5 other streamers who also have good audiences, but then might not necessarily be crossover there. Well, it's just opportunities to co-create
crossover.
content daily. And if you're in a house, it's like you get opportunities to do that every day, and it's and then it's just so much easier to.
And I guess this brings us back to what we were talking about a couple of weeks ago, where streamers working together, for, like in regards to the endorsement thing and everything that we were mentioning, about pooling their resources to grow or back each other. Yeah,
And it's happening with the Shade Crew as well, which is a slightly different version, but
What is Shade?
well, yes, what is Shade?
What is Shade? Nobody knows.
Ask all these people on YouTube, and they'll tell you.
I doubt they'll tell me.
Oh wow, they've actually got an article in JB Hi-Fi magazine. Click Crew, huh?
Yeah. Oh, Click Crew is massive. As soon as they all moved in together, they just blew up. Like I remember they were.
What happened to the KFC deal that they got? That went out the window pretty.
That
quick.
went out the window
Did
quick.
it?
Yeah.
One of them still got a KFC deal by the looks of it on their Twitter page, unless they haven't taken the links off, but it's still there.
Maybe it was just a short-term thing. It's hard to tell.
Could have just been an activation for all we know, really.
Yeah.
Could have been like the Maxibon thing was a bit of a phase that everyone was going
This
through.
is kind of off topic.
Oh, the Maxi Bond thing is not a phase.
It's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle.
I'm sitting here lighting
I
fires
know
right now.
Tattoo Nick is gonna tattoo a Maxibon onto Jack Hutto. I know that's.
I mean, I'd pay to see that. I'd
got a
sub
lot.
for that.
I'd do it. I'd go tier 3 for that. Like
Jesus, got to pay back that tattoo fund somehow.
Yeah.
I would let Tattoo Nick tattoo anything on me. If you're listening, Nick, anything. Your choice.
Anything. Especially not a Jam logo, though. Specifically not what he wants.
Yeah, have you got a tattoo of the Jam logo, Chris?
No.
Yeah.
Not yet.
No.
Give it a couple years. Man.
What are we talking about? Oh yeah, with houses and Shade, and so Shade did say that they were getting a house. So, but we don't really know who's going to be in the house or anything like that. But
yeah, they've given like a little bit of publicity promotion around it, but like for the most part, we know just about as much as everyone else.
the jury's still out on the Shade.
It's going to fall down to who they bring in, pretty much.
Yeah.
But even then, in my mind, I don't think it will, because you look at the sort of people that got involved, like Shane Warne and a lot of traditional sporting people, and then even people who sort of started off with just making shitty Vine clips and stuff like that.
I watched the
They could
YouTube
bring in-
video. I didn't know anyone in it.
Yeah, they could bring
think
in
that's
any
just 'cause
sponsor they want,
I'm
you know,
rigid.
and just make it something.
Yeah. I think that they got to be really careful to not like alienate both sides of the coin, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to bring in traditional influencers who game and gamers who are fans of these people and create a massive audience. But they run the risk of not being authentic with their traditional influencers who game, and then like their traditional fans won't care about them gaming because they're just like, well, this is not authentic. And they run the same risk on the other side with the gamers thinking, well, why would I watch this when I can go and watch my favorite gamer who's a pro on Twitch?
Yeah.
So they've got to be
Mm.
really careful, I think, with, like you said, picking the right people and making sure that it's not too cheesy and it's like, people want to watch it. It's got to be good content, obviously. So, yeah, hopefully, they really know what they're doing and they can pull it off. Because obviously they're spending a lot of money because it's
Yeah,
not.
I mean they've got the backers to do that though. Like,
Yeah, of course
Shane
they've
Warne
got the
on its
money, but
own.
like, when you're spending that kind of money, you really want to have a good plan and know what you're doing, which I'm.
yeah, you definitely need to be looking at the ROI on that one.
Yeah, because we already know they're spending so much, based on how many people have just said 3 words, what do you say? They probably got paid $100,000 to do that.
It's crazy. Just crazy to think about.
Yeah.
But then you've
100
also got to
grand for
think
3
about
words.
the house that they've all pitched in on.
Yeah,
Well,
and
that's
all
gonna
that.
be
Who
not
knows,
cheap.
like, behind the scenes, but yeah, it's costing so much money. Yeah, okay. And alright, so let's talk about this one piece of esports news that I found, which is discussion worthy. We can start talking about Apex a little bit.
Yeah.
Athletico is a big org in Australia who announced that they are signing an Apex team. Edge, Bullet, and Curb. I know Edge
Yeah.
from
Serb.
PUBG. Serb? Yeah, but I don't know these guys, but I think you might know them too.
Bullet and Edge, all 3 of them are ex-PUBG players. They all played with each other at some stage within the PUBG scene. Now pushed on to Apex, but even then, Apex is still sort of hearsay.
Yeah.
Like they are showing, like, flashing a bit of money around, but that's only in the streamer world. They haven't really shown anything in terms of the competitive scene and how that's going to work. There's no talk around, custom server access or any way for the players to sort of develop their skills better, like any traditional sort of game like CSGO, where you get to watch demo replays. There's none of that in Apex.
Honestly, I feel like demo replays nowadays need to be sort of a prerequisite for gaming. It's getting to the point where it's just not enough games are like even looking to include that, and it's so essential to keeping your players interested and like self-development around your game. But like,
this is how the scene's working at the moment, right? This is how a lot of tournament organizers are running their games. Is basically you get a kill, you get a point for a kill, and you'll get like 10, 15 points for the win, right? And then it'll go down first to fourth, right?
Yeah.
But that's not all of these players in the same lobby. It's just you just join a lobby and then you just record your score, right?
Yeah, I remember. That's exactly how Fortnite's
How
done
is
it.
anybody getting better in that sense? Like it's pure pot luck in that sense that you're going to get someone,
Well,
even
yeah,
when you're
'cause-
sort of trying to queue into the same lobbies. But even then, you got a heap of randoms, and then you got to take into the fact that Apex is just full of speed hackers, aim hackers at the moment. It's sort of unbearable.
Yeah, that whole concept of like joining into a lobby, a public lobby, and trying to score and like have a competitive game that's just so ridiculous to me. I know
It's
that
so
that's
easily
the only way they can do
exploited.
it. It's the only way that they can do it right now. But
Yeah.
like, if you ever run a tournament, you have to have some kind of custom lobby.
That's exactly right. Like they should be able to set up a private lobby. Here are your codes to the tournament. This will get you into the private lobby. Like it doesn't seem overly, in my mind anyway, it doesn't seem overly difficult to set something up like that. It's just
Fortnite still
laziness.
Do custom lobbies for like some of their qualifiers.
No,
and that's so ridiculous to me.
Even COD has custom lobbies now for their blackout. I think it's set to maybe 20 players tops, but at least they've got custom lobbies. Like,
I mean, COD has had private matches and custom lobbies since COD.
But the biggest thing here is if they are trying to make this a spectator sport, what is interesting about it apart from just watching your favorite streamer play it?
Nothing,
Nothing.
really.
Literally
Nothing.
nothing,
It's
Yeah, so that's why it's, to me, it's too much of a gamble to sort of be picking up at a team at this stage, especially when there is no talks whatsoever of any positives to come from it.
no.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
just
Current
it's just
stance, another 3-4 months, if they don't do anything, it's dead. Right,
Oh,
it's just going to
sure.
be a
Yeah.
game in the distance because the rate of new games that are coming out at the moment, they'll be a
especially
thing of the
battle
past.
royales.
Oh yeah, which I can't wait for Halo to drop on PC because that, and I bang
Oh,
on
Halo will
about it
take
a
off.
lot. I bang on about it a lot, but it will reclaim as one of the
Oh,
top
definitely.
first-person shooters,
Oh,
like
absolutely.
back in its heyday. Like,
I mean, you look
hands
at
down.
Halo back in like 2008 when we were all in high school, and
Oh,
everyone had
yeah.
a copy of Halo just to play on the school computers. You know,
Yeah, that is going to be
Halo
really
is
exciting, actually.
it is going to come back and it is going to take over because
Yeah.
it's going to be on PC.
And you will get all, like, okay, so I know we don't like to talk about overseas players a lot and everything like that, but you will see probably some of the good ones. Like Ninja, just briefly, he was a massive Halo 3 player. Like, that's where he made his name. And I don't know whether you'll return to it or not,
if
but it
Ninja
would
just
be good
streams
to
it for a
see.
week.
Yeah, and it will be good to see some of like the old veteran players return to it and just, like, I don't know. Yeah.
Because there's so many young kids now that have only ever played BRs, you know?
Yeah, they
And-
don't understand these, like, and the Halo dynamic was amazing. What Bungie did with Halo 3 and Halo 2 was like just absolutely phenomenal with its games. It, like, revolutionized the console gaming multiplayer. Yeah.
Yeah, so if Ninja streams Halo when it comes out for a week, like that game will get a lot of new players, and then
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
I can
it'll
almost
snowball
guarantee
like
you
that.
he will be streaming that
Yeah.
for a lot
Just-
more than just a week.
Yep. And 343 Studios know how much people are banking on this, and all the updates, all the DLC that they ever put out, which I love, is free. 100% free. You buy a game and you get all the DLC free. And that, yeah.
See,
Yeah.
me being a game developer who's gone to uni to actually study game development, that doesn't compute well in my head. Like, how do they have the money and like the ability to just say, yeah, we'll make all these new assets and all the stuff that we're going to be making. We're just going to give it to you for free. Just
Well, I guess-
DLCs and that are free, yeah, but you can't count out the fact that they'll bring in some sort of loot box or crate system.
Halo does
something.
already have, in Guardians,
Yeah.
it already has like a system, but it's good because it's just skinning and cosmetics, like with a lot of them, but it has no value, but it is a really good system that's not forced upon you. And I suppose because 343 are owned by Microsoft, they've got that financial backing behind them. Like, Microsoft own Halo. Bungie handed it over to them. And yeah, like...
I think they've got to be really careful that with it not being a free game, that because so many games are free these days, and people are going to be like, well, I can buy this for free. I can go and get this for free, or Apex for free. Why would I go and pay money to play Halo? Especially a new player that's never played.
That is that is very true. That is very, very true. But I think if they do it smartly, they will. So, just briefly, I don't know if many people know the model already, but Microsoft's Play Anywhere model, if it's a game developed by them and you have an Xbox, you will digitally buy it digitally, you automatically get it for PC as well. So when they release the Master Chief Collection, I'm hoping that's what they do, is that, okay, so all the people that own it on Xbox automatically get it for free on PC, and then charge their normal price or whatever for the new players, but they should already have that exposed player base.
See, I reckon they'll give you all like an early access type of thing, and then
To
you'll have
test
to
it.
buy the game, and then you'll
Yeah.
have to buy the game on PC because it's sort of, a world
look,
first on PC for Halo officially.
I've got no qualms in buying this thing on PC.
Yeah, all the fans will, but that's not how they're going to make it the biggest game in the world. Like, you're competing against
They need to be able to bring
Fortnite
in new
and
players.
Apex. If you want this to be the biggest game in the world, you have to, market it correctly, have the correct model. And if they want to have it to be a paid game, then I think you need to look at Overwatch and what they did, because their game is an expensive game and it's very big. And Like what they do even now is they have free weekends where you can just download it for free and play it for free for a weekend. So that's a good opportunity to let people get a taste for it. And then
Yep.
once, they realize, oh my God, this is amazing, then they might go and ask their mum to buy it for them, for example.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
This is the market, There's so many kids from, in high school from 12 to 17 who have zero
It's
money.
true.
Oh no, I know that,
So
and I guess this is like for me as an adult, I see it this way. I can play Fortnite for free, which I never will, but I can play Fortnite for free. However, it's costing me a fortune to keep up to date with everyone else if I want the latest costumes and everything, or I can go buy a $60 game and it's complete. I don't need to go spend any more money on anything. Like, I don't know,
yeah,
but
that's true. But once you're already playing, you're in. That's what they want.
Yeah.
They don't care if you like complain because you have to spend money to keep up. Once you're in and you're addicted, like it doesn't matter. They've already got you. So
Yeah,
like
and I just, yeah.
the problem is getting them in the door. If you can't get the
Yep.
person to click on your game and download it, you lost. So,
Well, I reckon they'll be hoping on Ninja to stream it for a little bit then, because
I feel like they're probably going to do the same thing that who made Apex? I can't remember. The people who
Epic.
made Apex.
No, Respawn.
Respawn, that's right. I think their best chance at making a good impression with this game is to do the exact same thing that Apex did, where they brought in the streamers behind the scenes, kept it super secret, built up the hype through these popular streamers like Dr. Disrespect, Shroud, Ninja, all these other people, and then had them just play the living Jesus Christ out of it, because that's all they did for like 2-3 weeks just straight. They just played Apex.
But then you've also got to look at it from the other spectrum. Look at how old Halo is, the reputation Halo has, and how fast word of mouth spreads for Halo specifically.
Yeah.
Halo have to do little to fuck all in terms of marketing this particular game when it comes out on PC, because everybody's already going to be on the bandwagon.
It's
They're
exactly
going
like
to test it out. They're going to want to see this. They're going to want to know what's going on, how it's working.
Yeah.
And from an esports perspective, it translates extremely well because they've already got their formula down. Like it's already there. It's existed for the last 15 years.
You look at how many console players have converted to PC players now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And Halo's now coming to the PC market.
It's just going to bring even more
The competitive player base is already there.
Yeah.
It's already there.
That's
the
true.
players will just be, let's go. Let's get this ball rolling,
for sure.
I'm on that bandwagon.
The nostalgia is already there for them. They're
Just
already waiting.
And it's almost, I can't equate it exactly the same way, but it's almost, I would expect it to be sort of the same thing with the remaster of Modern Warfare 2. How that was such a critically acclaimed, backbone for the COD series, which is now coming back in a remaster. I mean, as long as they don't do what they did with COD 4 remaster, which, they probably will.
They will.
They will.
It's Activision.
If they didn't, it would it is Activision. But yeah, the player base is already there, the formula's already set up, they really just have to implement it. And you saw how incredibly crazy it was when they announced it. It's the same as Borderlands. Just the immense amount of hype that was immediately generated as soon as it went up on Reddit.
Oh yeah.
It's already there. It's laid out in the sand for them. They just have to not mess it up, essentially.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Hyper?
Oh, I was going to say I was super keen to get onto the COD Modern Warfare remaster until they bundled it in with Infinite Warfare. And then
that was a deal breaker.
That was a dick move. Way to guarantee.
Then they released it as standalone.
Yeah,
way later.
They basically just modernized it with fucking how Blackout is not Blackout. Fuck. Black Ops 4. Look how quickly that died off.
So, and just on that very quickly, it's free this month, Blackout, on all platforms. Now, I installed it on PC. It is 100 gig install, and to not waste anyone's download limit or their time, don't bother, because I cannot find a game on PC. I have waited at least 15 minutes, and nothing at all. It's dead on PC. Absolutely dead. Or maybe it's just Australia. I don't know, but it's dead.
Which is unfortunate, really.
It really is, because I wanted to play it on computer.
COD has never translated across well at PC.
No, it really hasn't. It really
The
hasn't.
last time COD was ever good on PC was back in COD 4, where
Pro mod.
Yep.
The whole pro mod scene, man.
And that's when they were talking about remastered version of it, and that's when the hype was there, and then the expectation to reality was just a massive buzzkill, and yeah, it was the same as Battalion 1944, I think it was, or 92. There was a heap of expectations around that game, but what happened with that? I didn't hear a single thing. I didn't even hear about it launching. You know,
mate, that was the biggest clusterfuck of a launch and PR nightmare that I've ever fucking seen.
No Man's Sky. Sorry, I'm just choked my beer a little bit.
Second best.
Second best.
Oh man, No Man's Sky. Where do you begin? You just don't. You don't.
I mean, admittedly.
They turned it around.
They have definitely. If you play the game nowadays, it is leaps, and you wouldn't even recognize it from launch game. You really wouldn't. It is leaps and bounds way better than it initially was.
Isn't it great when you buy a game and you are now an alpha tester for that game? Isn't it wonderful?
Wasn't that like Grand Theft Auto 5 when it was on consoles to start with, and it's like 12 months later it's on PC?
Yeah,
it's like beta testing. Thanks, console players.
Yep.
Thanks, guys. You little sheeple. We got you. Haha.
Yeah.
This is coming from the guy who's bought it 3 times.
Jeez.
No, I have too. I've been in that boat on different consoles as well.
Yeah,
If it makes you feel
PS3, PS4, PC.
Yeah.
Jesus. If it makes you feel any better, I've bought Destiny 2. That's I think 4 times because I bought it for a friend as well. So
I picked it up when it was free.
I love that game.
when Blizzard gave their apology and released it free for like 2 weeks or something. Yeah.
People jumped on that and it was like, okay, yeah, the storyline's pretty boring, but overall the game operates really well.
Oh look, I love Destiny 1. I played it to death. Absolute to death.
Beautiful game. But honestly, people just, I don't know. There was a lot of things that went wrong, but I personally loved it. So
yeah. What's that? Someone in the chat, PP said Modern Warfare 2 Remastered is going to be story mode only. Well, that sucks.
That's just a straight death wish, honestly. To do that is literally saying we're wasting hundreds of thousands of man hours just for nothing.
Don't get me wrong. The story is absolutely, like, the story itself is absolutely incredible, but without the multiplayer, it's lost the heart of it. Like, that's what,
People will buy it just so they can play the No Russia fucking mission all over again in HD and then never play it again.
Yeah,
that's it. That's all they'll do. That's literally all they will do.
Back when that game was released, there was like so much
controversy
about it being released here in Australia, and I was one of those angsty little teenage shits that was like, well, fuck you then, I'm going to record it and upload it to YouTube just to spite you.
Oh man, my God. I remember the Grand Theft Auto ban in the country where it got released and then they pulled it because they didn't know what was in it. This was the number 3, and then released it with an MA rating cut. And then after that, I ordered all my Grand Theft Autos from New Zealand because they all had the R rating uncut versions.
Marketing loopholes 101.
Yeah. Go to New Zealand.
Buy everything through New Zealand because they make more sense than us.
Pretty much.
They do.
Probably true.
Their internet's better, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Connections. I mean, technically we can get gigabit here in Australia. It's just there's no retail provider that will sell a gigabit plan to a consumer grade service.
No, you can get 4 250 connections, and
if you jump, then you go. The new estates and such that are being built all across the areas have this thing called Opticom, which I know my friend Beatnik is on. Is that bad? My friend Beatnik swears by it.
So I know Beatnik. Beatnik is a really, really good dude.
I love Jared. Such a beautiful man.
But Opticom have like literally the worst operations center that I've ever dealt with. I work for an undisclosed ISP, and every time we've ever had to contact them, it's Ben fucking terrible.
Jeez. Okay. Well, maybe I won't let him swear by them so strongly anymore.
I mean, they have a much lower footprint in terms of subscribers on their network, so they don't suffer congestion as badly as what NBN Co do. But at the same time, like, they're pretty pricey. They're in
they're up there.
Tap your nose sort of areas.
Yeah, I understand.
Oh man, this country.
I mean, doesn't the US have like gigabit fiber everywhere?
No,
Yes, they do.
Well,
Yes, they do.
Well, not everywhere.
Pretty much
Google
everywhere.
has most of the states. It's totally dependent on the senator that's the representative of that state within America to who's got it. Google has like 70% of the area network coverage, and then a lot of it's through other individual providers similar to Google, but not on the same level.
There's also a lot of areas still using HFC as their primary technology as well.
Correct.
Yeah. Like, we've got our POI, which is like the junction sort of thing for fiber and everything. It's got gigabit. A couple of the providers have put gigabit capable equipment in there, but it's capped at 250. Like 250 megabits is the highest that you can get down, because they're like almost at capacity. They don't want to hit their throughput at a peak level, so it's capped. So like we can get 250 down here. Maybe one day we can get 500. That'd be nice. Like,
That'd be nice. Or you could just save up your money and pack off and leave to New Zealand where they've already got it set up.
yeah, but their ping's not great though. Like they've got good internet connections, but their pings don't seem all too crash hot.
Isn't it because
That's what
like they
happens
have
when
to
you
run
live
through
in Melbourne.
Sydney to get to the rest of the world? Like there's no
Yes.
pipe out of New Zealand. It has to run
Yeah,
through Sydney.
it doubles back or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I actually didn't know that. It's kind of crazy.
So their ping sits at like anywhere from 10 to 18. Where like, if I do a speed test now, I can hit 2 to Sydney. But
I mean, you look so pretentious holding that wine glass. Like that. It's like, oh, we've got
I can get 2.
5 to 10 over here, but they've got like 10 to 18 over there. Oh, yes.
look, I know what I'm about, son. All right.
Oh my god. But I mean, honestly though, is there such a massive difference between 10 to 18 ping as opposed to 2? Like, do you really feel all of that? I mean,
No.
I play Rocket League
really.
on
No.
if I ever jump on Rocket League, I have anywhere between 24 and 40, and it doesn't feel any different, honestly.
No. The only time that I've like probably noticed it the most is with some shooters. Just having that little bit of an advantage sort of thing. But apart from that, like, it doesn't change the color of my day.
Yeah,
because you still got to.
doesn't make a game like completely.
Well, no,
unplayable.
because even though I've got to like route, like I can hit 2 to Sydney, but then if I'm going to play on console or something like that, I've got to go to their server, which usually sits at a 49. But
Yeah.
I might have a little bit more of a connection, quicker connection to that. So
Yeah.
It's gross how consoles route through their own sort of custom DNS before actually hitting any other part of the internet. And it massively impacts on your downloads, but also your connectivity to multiplayer
Yeah, but that also comes
servers.
down to subscription plans and everything else, so
So,
people can't get out of it.
Yeah, I will say though, with the Xbox, you can I do hit usually full download bandwidth of about 11 megasecond downloading games. And when I was playing Titanfall, I'd hit about 38 on their servers, which I think they're Azure servers in Sydney or whatever. But for some reason, with the PlayStation, their download is you can't get a decent speed. Like it just it dies, absolutely dies.
What's even worse is that the justification for charging the monthly subscription is that we're providing a more premium network. Bullshit. It's the same dog shit network that was on the PS3.
Yep.
True. Very true.
Yeah. And I guess that's the thing Microsoft's got, like they've got their data centers. They own the data centers. Everything is, but yeah.
Life of a conglomerate gaming company.
Yep.
Well, if we can't fix everything, let's just buy it out. And then we'll worry about it some other time because nobody can stop us.
That Simpsons episode. Buy him out, boys.
Well, I don't think there's too much more to talk about, and nothing really is coming up in chat. So I think we might finish it up there, guys. And
It's around the right time anyway. It's like 10 to 9.
yeah,
It's pretty good timing.
We had a good episode this week. So I'll let everyone just say their goodbyes and plug their stuff, and then we'll finish it up by hosting someone in the affiliate program.
I think we let Hyper go first. Let him plug his stuff.
Of course, yeah.
Plug away.
So I'm HyperStrike. I'm the founder and team manager of Team OCE. I stream 4 nights a week here on Twitch on Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 p.m. South Australian time or 8:30 p.m. Australian Eastern time. And I'm going to be jumping over to Sea of Thieves momentarily, so have fun. But I'm also on Twitter, Instagram, same username. Brand synergies like all over.
Perfect.
That's what you want.
Well, everyone knows me. I'm Unbound. I don't really do much besides just talk on the podcast and do stuff around the place for jams. So I'm a pretty boring person. We'll move on to KB.
Yeah, right. How do I follow that? No.
You don't.
I'm KB. My schedule is on Twitter. I'm not going to go through it now. I'm probably going to jump over to Sea of Thieves with Hyper after this, so we'll see what happens.
Yay!
I've got to get approval from the missus, so we'll see what happens there. But yeah, it's been a wonderful episode. Thanks everyone for joining us.
Yeah, thanks guys. It's been a great one.
Cheers, guys. It's been fun.
Alright, well, I'll plug you for YouTube. Everyone follow Choose on Twitter. It's at jam_Choose. And
My
yeah,
every 2-month post.
Yeah, but we really look forward to them, dude. Like, it's a celebration every time you post one.
And I'm Chris from Jam, so make sure you check out our Discord, which is discord.gg/jam. And we'll be posting this VOD on YouTube if you guys want to catch up. And we've got all of the other VODs from the other episodes up there too. Yeah, so thanks everyone for checking out the spread this week, and we'll be back again next week, hopefully. We'll definitely be back, but hopefully there's more news next week. And yeah, so cheers guys, and I'm going to host one of the affiliates, so let me just find someone quickly. And then we'll pass the buck along.
Sounded like we're all getting fired then when Chris goes, yeah,
You're all done.
You're all done.
Game over. No more. No more.
That's it. Can't work with you anymore. Over.
Alright.
Alright, we're going to host
Thanks for having me.
JP. Alright, see you
Sweet.
guys.
Alright,
Gotcha.
thanks for watching everyone.
Thanks chat, see ya.
Boy.